Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Clifford's Corner, where we encourage, where we empower, where we equip, where we educate, and we show up, entertain you. Want to invite you to like our Facebook page. Notice I'm in my radio voice because it's nighttime. I feel like I should be doing This is Quiet Storm with Clifford English. Up next, Brian Culberson. Yeah, that's my smooth jazz radio voice. And we're back. So I want you to like the Facebook page. Also, follow us on Instagram and on Twitter. We want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're doing a special show. Normally, we would be on Saturday mornings, but we're doing something different. And as always, we try to bring in different topics, different subjects, areas that are not tapped, to talk about things that will educate you, that will definitely help you. So having said that, I'm going to bring in my guest today. Check this out. Welcome, Ali. Say hello.
Hey, everybody. How are you, Clifford?
I'm doing good. So just a brief history. You all might not know. This is my first time actually having a conversation with her. We were actually on the same radio station moons ago.
Yes.
And she loves radio. I've watched her interviews, very comical, very educational, sometimes controversial. I will say that now. I'm saying it in a friendly way. But that's how it is. So tell us about yourself and what you're doing.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me on. Good morning. Good morning. In my world, it's good morning over here. So let's talk. Yeah. So I am dabbling in a number of things, and Mind Your Body and Soul is kind of my baby. That is where I kind of rest everything that I do is Mind Your Body and Soul, which is my business that really kind of encompasses everything related to your mind, body, and soul. And the whole purpose of that, just to kind of give an idea, is how everything is intertwined. And so I have experienced life in so many ways in my illustrious 49 years. And I wanted to have a platform to be able to share my experiences. It's not just the wellness yoga, because I do the yoga and I do a lot of wellness, but I also travel. I travel a lot, and I am a huge advocate about exploring and learning about other cultures and understanding how all that stuff plays into how we function on a day-to-day basis. So Mind Your Body and Soul is travel. It is financial aptitude. It's yoga and wellness and all those things combined. And then additionally, my podcasting and radio experience as well. So that's kind of Mind Your Body and Soul in a nutshell.
Okay. So let's. I'm just going to go in pieces here. So when we talk about so tell everybody. I don't know if you want to reveal this, where you are now.
So I will reveal. I'm glad you asked that, because sometimes I wait a while before I share where I am. Currently, I'm in Tanzania, which is on the east coast of Africa. It shares border with Kenya and Mombasa. Well, Mombasa is in Kenya. A lot of people know those names, and it's right across from its island, which is Zanzibar, to kind of give you guys an idea. So it is 5 a.m. in the morning here.
Wow. She got up at 5 a.m. to do this show. Man, hey, I'm clapping for you right there. A lot of people won't even come across the street to do my little show. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. So I noticed, because I'm following you, I noticed that the experiencing, tell everybody how important it is to experience. I live in Houston, and we have multiple cultures right here in Houston. And sometimes I think we are afraid to experience other cultures. Now we're not afraid to talk about it from a negative or positive, but tell us how important it is to experience other cultures and how it's worked for you.
Oh my gosh, Clifford, we could be on here for days talking about culture, but I'm gonna keep it short. The reason it's so important, number one, the climate that we're in the United States. Number one, where we are, and not understanding one another and understanding the importance of international relationships. Number one. Number two, understanding how much more alike than we are different, because we hear so many different things about different cultures. We hear the tag words third world country. And a lot of times we forget that right in the United States of America, there are cities and states that don't have water, have running water. Yet we want to tag other countries who are known to have less infrastructure than the infamous United States,
Right.
but they're tagged as third world. And I will tell you something. I learned so much when I travel. It is such a blessing to be able to go around the world and be experience different people
Right.
and learn so much. And one of the things that always reminds me how far behind the US is when you go to a third world country and most of the people there speak at least two languages fluently.
Wow. Wow.
Like here, there's so many people, Swahili is their native language.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of locals who don't necessarily speak English, but there's so many people here that are local who are born and raised in Dar es Salaam and Tanzania area that speak Swahili and English like it is their first language. And I'm somewhat embarrassed because I
Wow.
just learned bits and pieces for where I go.
Right. Well, and I noticed when we were responding via messenger, you were responding in Swahili, and I didn't want to make myself look stupid and respond in Pig Latin, so I just hit the thumbs up thumbs up bar on that.
Oh, you didn't look. You got that you hit that little translate button
No,
for me.
I'm not even smart enough to do that. I was like, this thumbs up is gonna work for me, so she's losing me. But okay, so in traveling, and I noticed what you said about we noticing the difference in each other as opposed to noticing what's alike is super important, and that's relative to I don't want to kind of the climate that we're in now in the United States. We're so busy noticing race is a big thing, and I want to know when you're traveling, how does race play into when you're meeting people from all over the world? How does that, you being black, how does it, not necessarily black, but a different race? Have you noticed, any type of friction or anything like that?
So I have been blessed enough to not have encountered any negative, or I should say, any overt issues regarding my race outside of people staring at me. And actually, where I received that was in Mexico City. And I
Right.
don't know if that was more because I was a single traveling Black female as opposed to just being Black, because, Black and brown is kind of synonymous in most of our worlds. But it's I will tell you this. One of the things that I encounter pretty much everywhere I go is the first question is, where are you from? And over the last 4 years, ping ping on 4 years, the last 4 years, I have been I've been more apprehensive, I should say, around saying that I'm from the United States. Number one, because we're not viewed as powerhouse as
Right.
much anymore. A lot of people kind of look down on, not necessarily us, but they do look down on what our government is doing and what's happening. They can see a lot, and I can even attest to that based on the channels that they broadcast in different places. But I haven't experienced anyone, being negative because of my race, and so I'm happy about that. But I do tell people I'm from Central America just in case. Because the other thing, let me just tell you this. One of the things that does happen when you travel, and I talk about this a lot on my lives and podcasts, is people associate where you're from. They associate how much money you have based on where you say you're from. So
Okay.
if you say you're from the United States, they just assume you're just rolling in dough.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Wow.
just my little tip, be mindful of that. Don't walk around with your passport sticking out if you don't want. You have to think about the fact that a lot of people make money from tourism in most of these places. Even if you go to really secluded areas, they know you're different. So they know for you to have access to that place, you must have some money to get there. And so
Right.
that's what they naturally think. And so just a little side tip
Right.
is to not necessarily broadcast exactly where you're from. That way people take the time to get to know you rather than assume who you are.
Right. Okay. Good. If you're just now joining the show, Ali, am I saying that right? Okay, we got that.
Ali,
Ali,
like the
Ali.
fighter.
Okay, I got it. Ali has joined us. And I'm gonna say whenever I see you eating that food, I'm like, okay, what is that she's eating? Okay, it's kind of like the bizarre foods with Andrew Zimmern. I believe that guy was his name, where he would go places and he would be eating just about everything. So let's talk about mind, body, and soul. And okay, so in my simple way of thinking, um, you got to have all three of those working together synonymously at the same time to be, and that's not successful as in rich whatever, but be successful from a standpoint where you can survive, because with one breaking down, the body breaks down and then the mind follows right behind it, and then everything else. So let's talk about how someone can renew their mind. And I'm not talking about from a Bible standpoint. I'm not talking about renew your, we're not quoting scriptures here. So yeah. So tell
No
me how.
Bible stuff.
No, we're not doing that. Not on this show. So how do we renew the mind first? We're going to go mind, body, and then the rest.
Yeah, that's a great question, Clifford. So I like to say the mind controls everything, because quite honestly, what you bring into your mind then feeds into how your body reacts, and then therefore your spirit, your soul. And so for me, renewal of the mind is number one, cleansing your mind. And that is so easy to say. Let me just tell you, it's just like, oh, let me just scrub my brain and and then I'm all good. No, it doesn't really work that way. It takes a lot of effort to be able to first identify when you have toxic thoughts. Toxic thought can be, oh God, I'm never going to get this done today. That's a toxic thought, because in essence, you're basically telling yourself that you cannot accomplish something. And so I always start with, as cliche and as, oh God, I don't want to hear this overly positive person all the time, but that's what it is. It is literally shocking yourself with positivity. Or for me, cleansing my mind is finding the things that excite me without me thinking about them. And that's number one, music, good music
Right.
that gets me moving is great for me. And everybody is a little bit different, but I always employ people to encourage you to figure out what it is that lifts your soul without you thinking about it. So music, yoga, and good food. Like if you guys notice, I get excited about food.
Yeah, I see
Get excited.
that.
Give me some beats and I'm like, the whole world is its oyster.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
renewal is really just sitting in silence long enough to be able to hear yourself
Right.
and hear what you need, so that then you can go on and perform the appropriate tasks.
Right. So, and a big part of that is definitely as a child, my parents taught us not to hang around people because, and not to sound cliche, but it's true. Misery loves company, and bad likes bad. So I'm assuming surrounding yourself with positive people, even if that means being by yourself, is a start, because the first thing. So let me ask you this before we move to the body. So is there a chronological order? Mind, body, soul, soul, body, mind. If you were going to suggest to someone to refresh, to restore themselves, which one do they? And I guess and this is just a question, man. Which one would you recommend they start with?
Your mind. Again, your mind controls everything. Your mind it's outside of saying it's your brain, but it's the cornerstone. It's your heart. It truly is the part that sends the messages everywhere else. So like if you stick your hand on a burner, you may think your hand felt the heat first, but it did, but it didn't. It registered in your mind first, and your mind told your hand in reaction to pull back. That's why there are some instances where there's children or people who don't necessarily feel pain, or they're not empathetic, or they don't necessarily notice those things, and it's because the neurons aren't going to their brain to tell their body how to respond.
Right.
And so typically, if we can think it, we can be it. And I know that's very cliche, and it's one of those little clicky things. But let me tell you something: if you can believe in the simple things and things that you can accomplish just by thinking, you can really begin to change just a whole perspective of how you live your life on a day-to-day basis, which is how I am
Right.
in another country for technically month 6.
Right. And I was saying, okay, how in the world is, because I mean, I know my wife is listening. This is gonna come back and bite me. I'm not necessarily like traveling, and I've told her, Ali, that any place we got to fly that's outside of 2 hours, I'm not going. Forget about it. Yeah, okay, no, don't do that. You're supposed to be on my side. Okay, so we talked about the mind first and how important it is. So in your analogy, you suggest the mind and then the body follows. So when people do self-cleansing, like they do all these cleansing techniques and drinking stuff and all of that, is that really the root of is that the problem, or is that the start of actually something that will work?
So I am not going to deter anyone from the order in which they begin to figure out what they need to do, because sometimes for people, some people need to see it first. And so I do often suggest a body detox, because one of the things that happens is when our body is full of toxins, our brain is cloudy.
Right.
Because that's just what naturally happens. And so sometimes in order to get the clairvoyance, the clarity that we need to clean the vessel. So I'm gonna use a couple biblical, the temple.
Okay.
The temple. And so yes, it does work. But the thing is as you're doing those cleanses, is to begin to pay attention to your body, because then your body, as you release toxins being whether it's phlegm and things that's in your body or people around you, whatever, or situations around you, as you begin to release those, is to begin to sit in silence. So it's a twofold thing. A lot of times it doesn't work 100% because people are only doing the body, or they're only doing the mind part. They're not bringing those two together. We are collectively connected, and then the soul part comes afterwards. But if you're not going to, as you're doing the detoxing, if you're not going to sit in silence now that you've done it, you're just trying to flush because you want to get in that dress because you're about to go on vacation and you need to slim down a little bit. Take a little bit of time to sit back, because now your body can feel everything. Your body can sense everything. This is a great time to listen.
Right.
Listen to what your body is saying.
Wow. Okay. Just now joining us, Ali, like Muhammad Ali. I'm sorry. Joining us. So she does a number of things. So let me pull over and park just for a moment. So if someone wanted to follow you on Instagram, social media, how would they be able to get in contact with you and follow you?
So I have a couple of different handles on. The easiest way to follow me is through my link tree, because it'll have all of my links to my YouTube channel, which has my podcast and blogs, my website, which is mindyourbodyandsoul.com, and then it has all of my social media handles links on there as well. And so it's Linktree/Where's Ali, and Where's Ali is my tag for everything. So if you hashtag WHERESALI, you can pretty much find me on any social media platform.
Yeah, great. So let me ask you this. This is not relative to the show. So when you go back into radio, so now you remember I did my show, so make sure you leave a spot for me somewhere on there, because I see you got that glimmer. You want to get back behind that mic.
I do. Listen, and it was so funny. On my list, I wrote a blog about things that I wish I would have brought with me, and I put my actual radio mic. I wish I would have stuck that in the bag. So let me tell you though, Clifford, you're gonna have to be able to fly more than 2 hours.
Okay, so wait a minute. Did you know I can click this little mouse right here and remove you from this? You are supposed to be on my side. I told you. Let me click remove.
Listen, I am, because the betterment of the man is through the woman. Listen.
No, well, and I say that, and we probably will fly somewhere. I just have to. It have to be somewhere that I pick. And again, that's another show. So now let's talk. We talked about the mind. We talked about the body. Let's talk, which is very important, the soul. And this is not a religious part, but I think a lot of when we talk about cleansing, I think that is definitely where a lot of work needs to be done, because a lot of souls have so much stuff because the rest of the mind and the body is clouded and it's filtered into the soul, where you're drowning in stuff. So talk about how you personally address that.
Ooh. So yeah, I'm gonna take a scroll back. Like I was saying before, with the mind and with the body, everything takes time. We think that we can, you know what? I need to make a change. I need to cleanse. I need to get my spiritual self right. I'm gonna sit for a day or 20 minutes. I'm gonna meditate for 5 minutes and it's all gonna be good. No, no, no. Let me tell you, it requires practice. And I'm gonna tell you what the hardest thing for me has been. You realize what you need to do. A lot of times we know what we need to do, and that's a lot of times why we ask certain questions, because we already know the answer. The hard part is actually making those steps. And so sometimes what I do, because this is a process, and I'm going to tell you, it takes years. Like, I have been working on certain attributes of my spirituality for years and years. And I'm not sure if you know, I'm a PK, which is a preacher's kid. So I grew up with religion in the household and things of that nature. And I've had to reconcile with a number of different things of where I am right now, and how that fits in the grand scheme of things. And just in general, when we talk spirituality, a lot of people do think we're talking about religion, and spirituality and religion are different. They can come together, but they're different, because one is truly how you interact with yourself internally. One of the things we know about the word is, in our teachings, we are taught to go and sit with ourselves. It's basically to hear God. That's no different than meditating, so that you can actually hear your body, because we are supposed to be made in his image. I ain't gonna quote no scriptures, but I'm just
wait. But you know what I'm gonna do? Wait. When you do that, I'm going, go ahead. I'm gonna get that out the way.
So it all kind of flows together, but it does take time, and you have to be dedicated to doing it. And so a couple things that I usually say is discipline, accountability, and following through are typically some of the hardest things for us to do on a consistent basis. So for me, removing a lot of the things that I felt were keeping me from moving forward were a part of this cycle over the last now going on 3 years. Last year, if you are aware, I quit my corporate job that I had for 19 years. Number one, because they kept extending the retirement year, and I just couldn't make it. It was basically, it kind of went against a lot of what my natural principles are. And, I realize in life, we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised next year. I'm not promised 5 years from now. And to know that I had an opportunity, even if it's just this year of traveling and exploring, if, I had this opportunity to do some things and kind of maybe even pave the way in terms of finding out how to do it for other people. That is my calling. And that was important for me to really kind of get in and dig into my soul, dig into who I am and what it is that I believe my purpose is. And it's not so much you go and you just write on the board all the things that you want to do and you pick one. It's what's really speaks to you. It's the thing that wakes you up every day without you trying to get up. They always tell you, if you go into a job and you get up every morning like, oh God, I gotta go to work.
I've had some days like that.
That might not be your calling.
Right. So, and one of the things that I'm just listening to what you said, I noticed in one of your posts that you did tell people how to travel and how you went someplace one way and how they saved money. And that's something that, because knowledge is power. And I think when we try to educate people, because I'm pretty sure there's somebody that's following you that wants to know, how are you doing? Now, I'm not saying they want to know why is she doing it and does she have a job and stuff like that. But they want to, but they can see that you're happy doing what you're doing, and that it's definitely life changing for you to be able to travel to those places, to experience so many cultures, and not just like here in Texas, but cultures that are rich with so much history.
Yeah.
and that and that you be able to pass that on to someone. So let's talk about yoga. Now, I'm gonna say this: ain't no way in the world. When I was probably 10, I probably could do some of that stuff using. I say some, but now if I get down on that ground, I don't need about Mighty Mouse and three strong boys to come pick me up off that ground. So talk about how that ties into mind, body, and soul. Doing the yoga.
Yes. So the first thing I'm gonna say, Clifford, is that's that toxic talk to yourself when you say
You're
you
welcome.
can't do it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So, but you can. It takes it's if you want to do it, I'm a believer that anything you want to do, you can actually accomplish. You may not, you know, be let's see what's a great superhero, you know, Superman or something at it, but you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. And yoga, like I mentioned before, yoga is one of my go-tos. I have a mat. I brought all my yoga stuff with me this time because I knew I was going to be on an extended trip this year or last year to this year. And so I brought my mat. So every day I go out into my front room, my mat is sitting on the floor. That is one of my triggers. It's put things in position for you to make the changes that you say that you want to make. And sometimes it's no different than a child. You a lot of times we think because we're of our age, well, we aren't kids anymore, but we still function mentally the same way children do. So there are things that we have to train and retrain our brains to do. And yoga is one. Yoga
Right.
is just a part of body movement, and it is part of body and it's part of mind. That's why it incorporates your soul. So it encompasses everything. There is a way to sit for 5 minutes and really ground yourself, and at the same time get the benefit of a stretch. You know, pulling out those muscles, making yourself more flexible because flexibility helps create circulation. Circulation helps get your blood flowing, which gets your passing all the nutrients and vitamins through your body. So when you are eating that fantastic beet that you're
Right.
gonna have with that hummus, and you're having that, it's gonna like go into your body and hit the places that it needs to hit and not be clogged, right?
Right.
So you want the vitamin that you're taking. May I take these vitamins? I don't feel any different. Well, is your body toxic and clogged? Because that means that the nutrients of that vitamin are not going through your bloodstream the way it needs.
Right.
So we want that circulation, and we get that through flexibility. We want the expansion of being able to say, I've moved from point A to point A point 5 now. Now I can stretch a little bit further. And
Right.
so for me, yoga is kind of the conduit. It's the piece that connects everything for me. And I don't do it all the time. I'm not like sitting for 3, 4 hours doing yoga. Sometimes I'm sitting and working and I'm looking at the mat and I'm going, right now I've got a brain block. I should get on the mat. And I go, well,
Yeah, that would be me. Hey, no,
no,
hey,
it
no, hey, Ali, I'd be like, how did Matt get in here? I know this must be my wife's Matt. Yeah. Okay. So let me back up. Let me backtrack. Um, so you said this, and I can't quote it, but you did say so. You left a corporate job to do what you're doing now. Now, the average person definitely uh, does not think like that because we're thinking that I'm walking away from money is basically pretty much and who would want to do that. But here's what I found interesting: the fact that you did it speaks to you, speaks to what you believe in and how you truly believe in it. Because from following you, you haven't backtracked, you haven't gone back, you haven't went back to Dallas and went back to work. And but every time I see you, you're someplace else. You got your camera up, you're doing something, and you look extremely happy. That's what whenever I look at your videos, your lives, I'm saying, wow, she's happy. So to find happiness in life, it suggests to me that sometimes you have to leave some stuff behind. Would you agree?
absolutely. That is the journey. We know 100% that everything we start with isn't what we're going to finish with, and so we have to be prepared to relinquish some of those things. Things that no longer serve us. It doesn't mean that we cast it we cast it away, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be so, you know, aggressive and things of that nature. It's just sometimes things no longer serve us, and we have to be strong enough to manage the things that don't serve us, understand what it is that we need to then do with it, and
Right.
then move forward. And that has been one of the hardest things for me. As an empathetic person, I do carry weight. I do carry people. I carry things,
Right.
because that's just how I naturally am made and wired. I try to turn the switch off, it doesn't turn off. But I've had to learn what things that I need to leave that switch turned off.
Right. Right. So is it hard? I'm assuming it's hard. I've had to walk away in life from some things that I knew were detrimental to me, my livelihood, my family, and I think that's where we struggle, because, like you said, we know exactly what or who it is that we need to distance ourselves from. But it's something like when I drive by Whataburger and it's just doing like this. And I know doggone well I shouldn't be getting that number 2 with cheese and all of that. But it's just, do you think we're interested in things slightly that we know that are not good? We're interested in at least keeping it, keeping it around until we really, really discover that it's not for us. And then sometimes it's too late.
Absolutely. And it's never too late if you still have breath in your body. And I will say this about your Whataburger or anything else, it's called balance. I have some biscuit cookie thingies in the cabinet right now. So, and I am a tiramisu connoisseur. So there are certain things that I still indulge in. I am definitely not the person to say, you got to swipe everything and like, if you don't live the most pure life. This is why I kind of do what I do off the beaten path, because number one, I don't like a lot of rules, because I think rules keep us from actually discovering who we truly are. Because we get caught in those rules, because then we naturally, personality wise, we learn from childhood that we have to follow rules to get reward.
Right.
And so if you don't follow rules to get reward, you don't get moved to the next thing, and not realizing that we kind of create our own reward. We can do that. We can create things on our own. And so, yes, we go through things, and I too, and if we even talk about relationships, those are the things that we hold on to the most, whether it's, friendship, business, whatever the level of relationship. But those are the hardest things to let go of. And often you see people say, and I need to clean up my list. I need to do this. I need to do that. And one of the things that we have to start thinking about is, if we're always cleaning out, there's cycles that we all go through. But if we're always cleaning out, we might want to take the time, slow down, sit in silence, and take the time before that becomes a part of our inventory. So we have to do less cleaning later on. And so, like you said, sometimes we have to remove ourselves. For me, removal is critical, and it's kind of my desire to be in different spaces and things of that nature. But I also find that if I remove myself from situations, then I also have space to figure out whether or not I need to be there or not.
Okay, cool. If you're just now joining us, Ali is our guest today, and she has been talking to us about mind, your body, and your soul. So, again, tell us where, if someone wanted to find you, they wanted to reach you, give us the links and all of that information, if you could.
Yes, thank you. So I'll give my link tree. If you guys know, it's link, linktr.ee / Where's Ali? It's WHERESALI. And in my link tree, you'll find all my links, my YouTube, my website, my blogs, and then all of my social media handles are in there as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna change gears here. So here's what I think you should add. Here's what I think you should add. Okay, so while you're eating this food, you need to have this like an eating show, because you're eating everything. You need just, you got the travel part, you got the mind, body, and soul part, but you need to have, put that camera on that food and explain to us explain to us the culture, where it came from, explain to us how it benefits the body, why, because I've noticed in a lot of cultures, they don't eat all this junk food that we eat. processed food. And I'm pretty sure you notice in some other cultures, like where you are, the people seem to be more healthier and they live longer. Is that something that you've seen?
Yeah, it is something that I see. And I will tell you this, any place that you go to that actually has infrastructure similar to what we see in the Western world, they get just as much junk as we do. So I'm in Dar es Salaam, which is the biggest city. It is no longer the capital of Tanzania. That is now Doha, I believe, or Damam. I always say the name wrong. It's Do something. And then Arusha is just as large with tourist population, but Dar is on the coast and it has the whole city skyline look and feel. I'll get a photo of it. I didn't take one previously, but I'll take a photo so you can actually see
All
this is a city in Africa, and they actually do have access to a lot of processed stuff because they are right on the coastline, so they get everything shipped in here, those kinds of things. But when you start to go to the outer layers, when I'm walking up and down the street, the locals who are selling things, everything is fruits and vegetables that the locals are selling. They are selling every pineapple, every mango. They actually have their own plums here, which are fantastic. But most of the places that I go to, it's an opportunity to reset because you don't have access to the things that you normally like to eat. Or one of the things that I found here is in this place, not everywhere, but everything is super expensive if you want that Western. So like a bag of Doritos, literally they sell, the baggies that we buy in the big variety
right,
packs,
right,
how you
right.
get like a mix of stuff. Like
Hmm.
they sell the little bags and they're, maybe like 50 cents or something. So they're not really expensive, but to get a regular size bag, it'll be, let's say about 9,000 shilling, which is about $5, $4 or $5, depending on our exchange rate, for a bag of Doritos or a
Yeah,
bag
no
of
way. I'll pass on that.
so
Wow.
it makes you kind of think about things,
Mhm.
but about the food show, let me tell you, so I did film a food show 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
I'm talking about right there.
But I love the idea of what you said because I do share a lot of food and I do food demos. So that's
Right.
one of the other parts of my wellness business is food demos. Because when I was back in the States, a lot of things I did meal prep and meal planning for my clients. And that is so rewarding in itself because most of my clients allowed me free kind of range to just make things because they would see all these, they would tell me the little things that they at least didn't like
Right.
and say, you know what, go ahead and try. And I want to, expand my palette. And that just brings me joy. So yes, thank you for that little tip, Clifford. I might have to
Yeah,
add that.
now look, man, hey, when you blow up, don't forget about poor old Clifford. I left him in. Okay,
Oh,
here's what I want to do. So we're gonna close here in just a second. So what I want you to do is talk about how everything that you're doing, from the blogging, from the traveling, from the learning different languages and learning different cultures, how has that helped you to grow personally in your personal life, spiritually, and everything in a nutshell? Tell us how you did that.
you know, um, Gosh, that's such a loaded question. I think deciding
Hmm.
to get up and move,
Right.
and not I've been physically 100% moved. I mean, move mentally, and then physically has been the thing that is the driver because you create this thing where you don't have choice. And a lot of times we don't progress, we don't move forward unless we're uncomfortable.
Right.
When we
Yeah.
sit in comfort with just keeping the job for 19 years, I mean, it you talk about it paid the bills, and I was afforded travel. I was traveling a lot before, definitely not for this extent of time. And 2020 was truly the beginning of showcasing that you can pretty much do anything from anywhere. And so one of the things I just want to kind of jump on that really quick is take advantage of those things that may seem as negative. find the silver lining in everything, because even though there's negativity and, oh my gosh, this is changing the scope of life, there's got to be something positive in it for you. We have got to learn how to turn the negative into positive and use it for our benefit. And so moving and traveling for me, I've run into things that kind of don't go necessarily the way that I'd like for them to go. And one thing I know is I can't just drive home. I am a 23-hour flight away. So, and that's if I buy a nonstop, which is very expensive. So we at least don't have one stop in there. So I can't just pick up and go home. I've got to figure this out. I have to put some time in and try to work through the things that aren't necessarily easy. And for me, asking for help is one of the things that I struggle with the most. And so by putting myself in these situations, specifically even the apartment that I'm renting right now, and I picked something that was not necessarily perfect, but it put me in a place where I had no choice except to be in the spotlight for everyone around. In terms of people, I have to engage with people. Even when I'm working, I have to lift up, I have to acknowledge that I'm in a different space, and then utilize those people, because that is their blessing to me. Yesterday, I got a bike delivered to me because I asked for a bike rental shop here, and the lady that works at where I'm staying, she said, "Oh, I have one for you." She didn't have it. She went out of town for a week. She said, "Hold on, I'm going to give you the name of a person." This guy I don't know. He lives 3 doors down. He came and brought his street bike that he rode from Dar es Salaam all the way to Arusha, which is 600 miles, or I don't know. It's like an 8-hour drive, but he rode his bike from here all the way there. He gave me that bike no cost to use while I'm here in Dar es Salaam. And so what it is changing me as I speak every single day. And every little piece, every little nugget I can take, and what I tell people all the time, one of my tips is make sure that whenever you travel, you have the means to get up and leave when you need to. So make sure you've got enough finances to, depart or, get to the embassy.
Right.
Know where the embassy
Whichever comes first. Right.
Step. But take these little things to kind of force you out of your comfort zone. And those are kind of the things that have been helping me along this plight, because I know what I want to do. I know what feels right. But just because you know what you want to do and you know what feels right doesn't mean that it's easy to do. Most times those are the hardest things to actually accomplish.
Right. Okay. Wow. Okay. So I want to be the first to tell you thank you for coming on the show. You didn't say no. You didn't give me the runaround. You said yes immediately, and I'm definitely going to have you back on. In a month or so we can do an update. So, lastly, again, tell our listeners, our viewers, where they can find you, social media outlets, and all of that, website and all that. Give them that information, please.
Thank you, Clifford, for inviting me to your show. First of all, like you said, we've known each other online for 5 years, at least at this point. And so it's fantastic to be a guest on your show. I am so grateful for this opportunity. And then contacting me, find my link tree, which is linktr.ee/Where's Ali, which is WHERESALI, and that has all of my links in there, and how you guys can follow me on my social media. Subscribe to my YouTube, please, you guys. I'm just getting my YouTube off the ground. I mean, I've had it for a while, but I'm I'm cleaning it up and getting it rocking and rolling. And then also to my blogs on my website at Mind Your Body and Soul. So I would love to talk with you guys. If you want a consultation, I offer consultation and things of that nature. Just in travel, a lot of people ask me about travel tips, where to go and how to do this, that, and the other. And so I do offer consultation in that area, as well as the wellness, and as well as basic financial information too.
Right. So one, Shalisa, you know her, Shalisa?
I do.
So Shalisa, so however you say your name, Miss Jones.
Shalisa.
Thank you. Put up the link, and so I'm putting it up. Thank you, man, for doing that. So again, Ali, thank you for. Oh, there we go. Look, everybody's posting on it now. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate you being on the show, and I definitely want to make sure that I wish you well. I wish you safe travel. I'm not gonna say bring some of the food back because I don't know what it is, how long it's gonna last. But I'm most pleased again when I see you. It's encouraging because you look so happy doing what you're doing, and anything in life that you're doing that does not make you happy, I would say, you don't need to be doing it. And you can, let's use radio. And this is off the subject. A lot of people would tell me, why would you be in radio when it's not, when it's definitely not any money unless you're somebody doing a great morning show. But you have to, it's kind of like radio. You have to love it to be in it. So when I see you posting, when I see you with your phone, with your selfie stick, you look so happy. So I'm proud of what you're doing. You ought to be proud of what you're doing. Again, I wish you well. And thank you for coming on the show. And we will definitely have you on again.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep. See you later.
On.
All right, bye. So we were blessed to have Ali on the show. Good information that she shared, and you can also go back on Facebook and share the show with your friends. You can create create a watch list, create a watch page, or whatever they call it, to watch the show. So I would like you to make sure that you also check us out on these social media platforms. Like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, I would like for you to like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our guest again today was Ali, and she did a wonderful, magnificent job. So I want to thank her for being on the show, and we will see you next time. Thank you.